Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for coming, online and offline, for the Bhagavad Gita class. It's like, these evening classes are really also important, and they are actually really nourishing, especially, they say, if we go to sleep with kind of the spiritual energy. And it's really interesting, relevant verse today as well, 4:26, actually, which will speak about mostly how to properly hear. I hope you will also be able to touch upon some points with all of you. And for you online, please join us on YouTube live on Live Manor, broadcast on YouTube. We have a live chat there, and I would like to have your comments, your questions, your remarks, and everything. So we have this lovely conversation. Okay. You have the chat next to the... Okay. And also, by the way, I can see myself, how I look. And I look terrible. No, maybe look a little better. Okay. Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayu Kunja Bihari Jayu Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayu Kunja Bihari Jayo Yashodanandana Jayo Vrajajana Rajana Jayo Yashodanandana Jayo Vrajajana Rajana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jayu Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jayu Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jayo Girivari, Jayo Yashoda Nandana, Jayo Vraja Janarajana, Jayo Yashoda Nandana, Jayo Vraja Janarajana, Jayo Yamuna Tiravanachari, Jayo Kunjabihari, Jayo Yamuna Tiravanachari, Jayo Kunjabihari, Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunjabihari, Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunjabihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunjabihari. Ora Pravarande Rivu. Hare Krishna, welcome. We can take Bhagavad Gita if you want to maybe to follow. 4:26. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we're reciting the fourth chapter, the Transcendental Knowledge, verse number 26. You can repeat after me. Shrotradini nindriyan anye. Shrotradini nindriyan anye. Samyamagnishu juhvati. Samyamagnishu juhvati. Shabdadin vishayan anya. Shabdanin vishayan anya. Indriyagrishu juhvati. Indriyagnishu juhvati. Shrotradinindriyan anye. Samyamagnishu juhvati. Sabdadin vishayananya. Indriyagnishu juhvati. You want to try? It is 4:26. Oh, okay, you were repeating really well then. I thought you were reading. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita, 4:26. What do you have? Are you sure? Maybe I have the wrong. 4:26 should have unalterated brahmacharis. No, it is 26. Can you check? Okay. Yes, this one, yeah. Shotradin indriyan anye Samyamagnishu juhvati Shabdanin vishayananya Indriyagnishu juhvati. Shotradin indriyan anye Samyamagnishu juhvati Sabdanin vishayananya Indriyagnishu juhvati. Thank you very much. We're really expert scholars here. Synonyms. Shrota adini, such as the hearing process. Indriyani, senses. Anye, others. Samyama, of restraint. Agnishu, in the fires. Juhvati, offer. Shabda adin, sound vibration, etc. Visayan, yeah, okay. Object of the sense gratification. Anye, others. Indriya, of the sense organs. Agnishu, in the fires. Juhvati, they sacrifice. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Who can deliver such a transcendental pure message except Srila Prabhupada? So, translation. Some, and it's really relevant for all of us here. Some, the unadulterated brahmacharis, you have here one, sacrifice the hearing process and the senses in the fire of mental control. Sacrifice the hearing process and the senses in the fire of mental control. And the other, the regulated householders, unregulated, sacrifices the object of the senses in the fire of the senses. Ooh, this is a mystery. This is a puzzle one. Purport. The members of the fourth division of human life, namely the brahmachari, the grihastha, the vanaprastha, and the sannyasi, are all meant to become perfect yogis or transcendentalists. Such human life is not meant for our enjoying sense gratification like the animals. The the four orders of human life are so arranged that one may become perfect in spiritual life. The brahmacharis, or students, under the care of a bona fide spiritual master, control the mind by abstaining from sense gratification. Which means Mahaprasadam as well. Whoops. A brahmacharis hears only words concerning Krishna consciousness. Hearing is the basic principle for understanding, and therefore the pure brahmachari engages fully in Harer Nama Nukirtanam, chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord. He restrains himself from vibrations of material sounds, and his hearing is engaged in the transcendental sound vibrating of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Similarly, the householder who have some license for sense gratification perform such acts with great restraints. Sex life, intoxication, and meat eating are general tendencies of human society. But a regulated householder does not indulge in unrestricted sex life and other sense gratification. Marriage, on the principles of religious life, is therefore current in all civilized human societies, because this is the way for restricted sex life. This restricted and unattached sex life is also a kind of yagya, because the restricted householder sacrifices his general tendency towards sense gratification for the higher transcendental life. Om Agyanati Virandasya Gyanachana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Namo Bhishtam Swapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadanmayam Padanti Swapadantikam. Now we can try sacrifice our hearing only to hear these invocation prayers. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopeka Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhyubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Kauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jayu Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you very much for joining today. We have a really interesting verse. I'm going to repeat it again, and I prepared something so that we can discuss. Maybe can you get a microphone, maybe, Prabhu? A microphone, maybe, so devotees can share their realizations. So, some, the unadulterated brahmacharis, sacrifice the hearing process and the senses in the fire of mental control. And other, the regulated householders, sacrifice the object of the senses into the fire of the senses. So, I was thinking just to start with a kind of a thought that whatever we do in life, we have to do some sacrifice, isn't it? If we use our time to go to work, we use our energy to achieve something, we use the money to get something. So we always have to sacrifice something to get something back. And the sacrifice is actually a part of everyone's life. Was it the karma and the question is, how do we, actually the thing is that sacrifice is important. There is a verse, 18 chapter, 5th verse, where Krishna says, Yagya data tapas karma natyayam karyam evatat yagyo danam tapas chaiva pavanani manishinam. He said that act of sacrifice, charity and penances are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity and penances purify even a great soul. So that sacrifice we should always have in our life. And now the question is, in which of the three modes we are doing it, right? They are in three modes. Maybe which chapter was speaking which verses are speaking of the three sacrifices in the three modes? Anyone? 17. At least for sacrifice. Yes. 17. Yeah. 17. 17th chapter, text 11, 12, and 13. And they go like this. Of sacrifice, the sacrifice performed according to the direction of the scriptures, as a matter of duty, by those who desire no reward, is of the nature of goodness. But text 12. But the sacrifice performed by some material benefit or for the sake of pride, O chief of Bharatas, you should know to be the mode of passion. And 13. Any sacrifice performed without regarding of the direction of the scriptures, without distribution of prasadam, spiritual food, without chanting of Vedic hymns and remunerations of the priests, all without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. Ignorance. We're going to reflect about this after actually this presentation of what actually, I'll try to understand what Srila Prabhupada wanted to say here. So basically, there are two types of lives. Actually, there's probably more than two. They have animal life, and we have a human life. And you have a plant life, I guess. But let's focus on these two. So, animal life, they are engaged in sense gratification. And they don't get any trouble for that. Right? They're just kind of, getting rid of their karma, and that's it. And they try to come to the human point of life. But human life is not meant, is meant for what? You have a mic? Can you maybe for the audience?
So when we have the chance to inquire about what's the purpose of life.
Yes. Purpose of life, or to have which life? Transcendental spiritual life.
Yes.
Yeah, spiritual life. So to the human life, so animal life, sense gratification, human life, perfection in spiritual life. And for that, we have perfect arrangement. Krishna gave a perfect arrangement for the human form of life to achieve spiritual perfection. And what is that? Was mentioned in this verse.
Varnashram.
Varnashram. That's right. The 4 divisions. Exactly here, you're mentioning the 4 divisions of life. So this is what Krishna gave to the humans life, so they can perfectly understand their spiritual, aspect. They can actually be perfected in spiritual life. And once they are not following these divisions, are actually, we can say, not actually trying to be humans. Of course, Vaishnavas are going even further than this. So it is, this is sophisticated, divine arrangement from Krishna himself. Krishna gave these 4 varnas, 4 ashrams, 1 varnas as well. So, following this really gives us the perfection we need. All of the visions, and one key thing about this sentence that Srila Prabhupada said, all the divisions, all 4, brahmachari, grihasta, vanaprastha, and sannyasi, have to become what? A perfect yogis, transcendentalists, gentlemen. In other words, gentlemen. They have to become perfect yogis. That's interesting. So, okay, sannyasis, I understand sannyasis. They are renouncing everything. I understand vanaprasthas. They are also renouncing, just step to the sannyasis. I understand brahmacharis. They are training themselves. But grihastas, wow, that's interesting. Grihastas should also be perfect yogis and transcendentalists. How to explain this? Any thought?
Well, Prabhupada says, if a grihasta can remain Krishna conscious, if a man can remain Krishna conscious in grihasta life, he's considered higher than a sannyasi.
Ooh.
Because he's dealing with the material energy and he's still being Krishna conscious. A sannyasi and brahmacharis don't deal with material energy, they're dealing with the spiritual energy all the time.
Ah, wow. So we have a good example of acharyas, right? Like Bhaktivedanta Thakur. It's like having a Prabhupada. He has a full-fledged material life, high estimate. Bhaktivedanta Thakur was a high judge. He was managing the Jagannath temple. He had 11 children. He was writing books, like amazing amount of books, all at once. It's like, wow, that's really a perfect yogi, isn't it? That's a perfect yogi. And also, I was just reading also in the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 26th, 27th chapter. He's also actually explaining something closer to this, saying if you have, a good religious wife, a good religious mother in the house, and you have a full Krishna conscious atmosphere, you don't have to take a sannyas. You don't have to take a vanaprastha. But if it's, it's a hectic and it's like, full of material, it's not Krishna conscious, you should abandon all of it and go for vanaprastha. So yeah, amazing, isn't it? It's kind of different because so many times, and also it's meant here that, grihastas, they have license. They have some papers, license. Look at me, I can go closer to, I can enjoy somewhat. But he will touch upon that a little later. So, first part of this translation, it was about the brahmacharis. And it's also interesting how actually Krishna, Srila Prabhupada actually emphasized. So one of the divisions are brahmacharis. And there are 2 classes of brahmacharis. One of them are pure and adulterated. And the other ones are probably not pure and not adulterated. Adulterated means they are pure, means they are without any contaminations. And what do these pure brahmacharis do? Pure brahmacharis. They control their mind by restricting hearing, maintaining things, and by restricting themselves not to hear, maintain things. This is one. And the second, they don't become a victim of. What is the second? First is hearing, and the second, most important thing, restrict their sense enjoyment. Yes. So they are fully, as we said, as Srinivas said, they are first fully giving all their hearing just for transcendental sounds. And the second thing, they are totally restricting themselves from sense gratification. Okay? So tell me, how can, but sense gratification, so, we get a flower from the Lord, I'm smelling the flower. So how is this not sense gratification? How is this not now satisfying my smell, sense of smell? How is, tasting, Mahaprasadam is really opulent. How is this not satisfying my tongue? Any comments?
In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it gives a verse on Maharaj Ambarish, and he said he engaged his senses in so many different ways. There's a list. So all his senses were engaged in the Lord's service, which led to his purification.
So this flower, it is offered to the Lord Sri Radha Gokulananda in the morning. So if I smell this flower, am I factually engaging my senses in the Lord's service? Or there is a trick? Or there is a catch? Why is that here mentioned pure and unadulterated? Why is not just brahmacharis? Why it's said pure brahmacharis restrict their senses? So what does the regular brahmachari do? I'm doing the same thing, isn't it? So the pure brahmachari and unpure brahmachari, they are both smelling the same thing. But what's the difference? Come on, Srinivas, you're expert. For sure, no. David, Prabhu?
It's just what I know is that once we engage our senses in Krishna's service, they become purified senses.
And how are we sure that we are actually engaging our senses to Krishna? How that we are actually engaging our senses?
That's why we have. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
If we're smelling the flower, for example, and we are reminded of Krishna, then we are engaging our senses for Krishna. Whether if we're smelling the flower and we're just enjoying the smell of the flower, then it's our own sense gratification. So it's not really engaging in the service. Like anything that reminds of us Krishna, and Mahaprasadam reminds of us Krishna, and it's his favorite food, and it takes our mind for our own pleasure, from our own pleasure to Krishna. That's my opinion. I don't know.
Does this have sense? Does this have sense? Right? Isn't it? So even if we are eating Mahaprasadam, okay, of course Mahaprasadam has such a potency to affect you, even though you don't know what you're taking. Let's be clear about that. But if we actually want to be pure brahmacharis, to get full Krishna consciousness and go deep into our Krishna consciousness, how much are we actually conscious that this is none other than Krishna? This is Krishna. This is not flower that smells nice. This is Krishna personified, and he's reciprocating and having, he's actually, giving me something. He's giving me a nice smell, fragrant smell of his smell that he's sharing with me now as a friend. It's like, imagine that I make something and then come to Dev Krishna Prabhu. I made this, And you're like, oh, this is so amazing. Wow, whenever I see this, I remember of you because, you made this. You remind me of this. How much did he do this? How much is like, oh, flower. Yeah, next flower. No, this is not smell. Oh, this is smell. Oh, yeah. It's like, how much, we are trying to, oh, this does not smell so nice or such, But this is the point. Also with prasadam. That's why they say nectar of the instruction, the second text. What is the Utyahara? Is it? What is the first word? Atyahara. And that is? Ever endeavoring. And overeating, right? And what causes us? What is causing us to overeat? Urges of the tongue. Yes. Urges of the tongue. And that's why brahmachari shouldn't eat opulent food. Why? Yeah?
Well, if someone eats opulent food, it'll disturb their sex desire, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Disturb your senses. So instead of thinking of Krishna, you are thinking how this is good and how you should get more. So first, okay, we are, you're thinking of Krishna. This is Krishna Mahaprasadam. This is Krishna's mercy. This is for purification of mind. And then you take it, it's like, oh my God, it's so good. Give me more. It's like you forgot to Krishna. Krishna is like out of the picture. It's like this, this taste is so good. But actually, I was just thinking today, is there any difference between Maha water and Maha milk? Is there any difference in the purification of the process? And was there any actually spiritual difference?
Well, Maha is Maha.
Maha is Maha.
You can't make distinction like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So this is it, and it's like, but how many times some days do you want a Maha water? Oh no, thank you, I'm not thirsty. A Maha milk? Yeah, you give me a jug,
But see, ideally, Maha should just be respected.
Mm-hmm.
This is the ideal.
Exactly. That's why is it opulent. Why is it opulent? Because of? Srinivas, you told me this once and I really remember it. Why is prasadam for Krishna so opulent?
Well, it's for Krishna's pleasure. We just respect a little bit.
Of course.
Honor it.
We want to give the best for Krishna. And like at least, this is not ours, everything is his anyway. So, just to give the best for him. But nothing for us. This is the catch. And then we are like, oh, come on, Krishna, come on. Is it Mahaprasadam yet? Come on, take it out. So amazing. This is it, So we are trying to think of Krishna. We are trying, and then when we are thinking fully of Krishna, then we are not going to be victim of the tongue, we are not going to overeat, we will be going to be much more satisfied. We eat a small amount of prasadam, we will be fully satisfied. That's what they say, eat until your full satisfaction, but not your full satisfaction of the belly. Full satisfaction of your relationship with Krishna. Otherwise, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati never liked, big belly. They said like you're leading a lot, so it's like they never like this big belly brahmacharis. Why? Because they are not active enough, So yeah, take it up. So this is the point that is really interesting here. They said that sacrifice. We are saying about the brahmacharis, pure, unadulterated brahmacharis, the one who are really strict and really determined, which we should try to be, at least one day, at least 1 week. At least let's take this full dedication of brahmacharya, and take it with us, and it will follow us everywhere after just experiencing it. And I'm actually, after 1.5 years here, I'm actually now trying to do this at least, let me, try to do it. Or if not sooner, then later what to do. So, and this is, because we have to see these specific words that are used in all of these verses. They are not accidentally. It's not like, Srila Prabhupada just wanted to kind of make it more beautiful. So I'm just going to use some fancy words, No. Every word has such a deep meaning. Every word was told to Srila Prabhupada by Krishna what to write. And unpacking all of these small words, we will understand what we are doing wrong. And why advanced devotees are advanced devotees, even though they're doing the same thing. They're not chanting different mantras. They're not doing different sacrifice yagyas. Service on the pujari in front of the deities and sweeping the temple is the same. But my material's mind is like, oh, but if I become a pujari, then I'll be advanced. No, you will not. You will just suffer more because you don't have the mentality to come to the, to dedicate yourself and actually do it for 5 hours. They're really working hard. But we're thinking like, when the temple cleaning service will end. So, yeah, it's like, let's say one more sentence. 2 more sentences about this. Pure brahmacharya fully gives his heart, his mind, and his hearing when chanting and listening to Krishna Katha. Trying to understand in other times, and other times when there are some material, mundane speak, he restricting himself. So he's like, full Krishna and that's it. And we need this part of life. When we are fully going for Krishna. And it is the best to do it in brahmacharya life than in grihastha. Don't do it in grihastha life. Then your wife will going to kill you. You neglected me and such. No, you have to do it now. When you can do it. Brahmachari only under brahmachari only under the care of a bona fide spiritual master are able to control the mind by not reacting on impulses of sense gratification. They fully renounce sense gratification. This is my Guru Maharaj. Once he called me and he was yelling at me, "You are so much disturbed, your mind is crazy, and it's because you eat too much of Mahaprasadam." He was yelling at me, "You are eating too much Mahaprasadam, you rascal, you're like, stop eating, your mind is crazy, I have to get you in order." And then he said, "Is that okay?" Yeah, actually, quite good points, Maharaj. Just showing that actually they are not angry, actually they're just, yelling at you so that you actually listen. So, yeah, he was just as big like hell, and he brought me here for training and I'm indulging in Mahaprasadam, it's like the opposite, like I feel like I came to the best, sense gratification retreat, Okay, you do some service, this and that, but then you indulge in 9 p.m., 7 p.m., 5 p.m. cakes, it's like you have a bakery here, just for you, for your sweetness, Oh my God! I think I got diabetes in 1 year of staying here. It's like, it's like, sorry Maharaj, I failed. It's like coming back like, it's like, oh well. He tried at least. So yeah, it's like, it's really nice to give classes because actually every verse I needed to prepare for the class. I understand that Krishna wanted to teach me something deeply, and this is what Krishna wanted to teach me about brahmacharya. And the other part is about grihastha life, but we are not going to go under that now. Yes, but as Srinivas said, that grihastha, which are really Krishna conscious, fully Krishna conscious, are even more glorious than sannyasis who just renounced the material energy. So, yeah, that's it. All in all, we were speaking about sacrifice. That is really important. 3 types of sacrifices, and let's reflect on this 11th verse. Of sacrifice, the sacrifice performing according to the direction of the scriptures, which means bona fide spiritual master that directs you. As a matter of duty, that means that in this sense that, you know, you are doing without any motivation. Those who desire no reward, so you are like fully fixed just for the satisfaction of Krishna, is in the mode of goodness. The thing is that many times I found myself, I don't do actually this for the satisfaction of Krishna. I don't chant for the satisfaction of Krishna. I chant because I want to chant in a way that it feels nice for me. And the best chanting is when, you know, I had amazing chanting. You know, it was so good for me. It was so nice for me. It was not hard for me. But it's not about me. We are about Krishna. So and okay, so brahmacharis, we said 3 sacrifices, and what does it mean, pure and unalloyed? And so, any comments?
Yes, thank you for the class, Roberto Wu.
No, thank you for tolerating me.
I have a question about, in terms of like the manner we see that with lots of, you know, like these special occasions, and you know, where prasadam is sponsored, and so how do the if there is, you know, a very opulent a feast prepared, a very opulent feast, how do we honor it properly without actually not
be a victim of the senses?
How do we honor it even if it's, you know, if it's all very opulent?
Wow. So thank you very much, David, for this question. So if I understood correctly, you said, like, you know, when we have like lots of festivities and lots of, you know, some kind of special days, special celebrations, grihastas are sponsoring it many times, you know, regular prasadam, so we cannot constantly have opportunity to have a nice feast. So how to kind of, you know, take prasadam, honor prasadam, without being a victim of the senses and indulging in it, right? Well, at least I'm actually learning this from you, so it's you know, actually, like looking at you, actually I understand how that should be looked. And I think that, as you know, I think that you're doing the amazing job here, because you are training yourself every day, whatever you take, to just be fully concentrated on Krishna. And then what happens when you're training more and more yourself, and you, like, you know, don't let yourself, you don't allow the mind to indulge into the satisfaction. So the first thing in your mind is Krishna, and how you're developing, how is this amazing reciprocation you have with Krishna. And then in the background is like a plus, is what the taste is. It's in the background, like, Krishna, this is such amazing prasadam, even though it's tasteless. It's amazing prasadam because you gave it to me. You know? So that's why it's like amazing. And then it's even tastes amazing. It's like, it's just a second thing, but it's always Krishna in the center. You know, always Krishna is how, like, this is amazing because of you. It is amazing because of you. You. And then it's like you're just feeling so full of love and joy and satisfaction and connection that, you know, doesn't matter how much you take. And even then, I think you can actually take a lot without being affected. You take a big, huge amount and eat it all, and you will not even feel any pain. Because this food you're eating with the consciousness, of spiritual consciousness, you're invoking spiritual energy in it. You know? And then actually, you're actually not influenced materially by the food. It becomes spiritual, and then it becomes a rasa. It becomes an exchange. You know? But if you're sense enjoying, then Krishna has to punish you. Then you take a small amount, he will punish you. So this is for how I understand it, but I think that you can maybe share actually. So.
Thank you. I don't know about how focused I am in terms of honoring it properly, but I suppose is, I guess, what you said, that we honor it, and we just honor it as Krishna's mercy.
Then actually you feel Krishna conscious even after taking prasadam. Usually after take, you know, I have a great japa, I have like, you know, fully high, like I'm like good japa, I was Krishna conscious, I took prasadam and boom, back to Maya. I was like, what happened? I just took prasadam. No, you were sense enjoying. You went for extras, which you didn't need it. This is the thing. You said that, you know, because, you know, overeating, this is it, you know, I just take it because, actually it feels good, you know. So, and why is it? And most of the things why are doing it because of emotional needs, and why emotional needs? Because actually we are not doing the properly sadhana, which it will nurture us emotionally, so we will not have a need to eat emotionally. And this is the biggest reason why we are eating, and craving for sweets and such. And I really liked yesterday's fasting because it was such a good experience for the mind. I want to eat. No. How about this? No. We can maybe eat this. It's plastic. I don't know. Maybe we don't. No. It's like, no, you're not eating anything. Stay here. Everything is okay. You need this. Just keep calm. And then it's like, it's like a dog. It's like, down dog. Okay. And then it's like, So, So thank you guys. I'm really inspired by you guys, and thank you for this talk. It was amazing, inspiring for me. Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All assembled devotees ki jai.
Roberto Prabhu ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now, we will. One of the benefits of having Bhagavad Gita class is with these full spiritual energies. When we go to sleep, you're going to dream such a nice things. Now we are full of hype, your spiritual energy. Now we go to sleep. You will just think of honoring prasadam. I hope honoring that. That's it. Huh? This is it. Simple for the simple. That means focus on the simple things. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the moment you see it, boing. Oh, I like this, I don't like this, I like this. It's like, no, you should actually be, okay, which level I am? I'm level of sense gratification. Okay, let's then take the least opulent and train myself. When you're trained, then I'll just take whatever comes. Doesn't matter, because everything is absolute level. Yeah, and nothing will be affected. And for you, it's the same if you get like Maha sweets or you get dry chapati. It's Maha.